All right, so this is TBC Abundant Life, and we're going to do some role plays about how to speak to closers, how to interact with closers, and present them the opportunity in a tactful and strategic manner. So I do need a volunteer. Anybody can volunteer. It's cool if you mess up. I messed up a lot when I first started, so it's all good. I just want to basically run through a role play with you, see how you do, and then give you constructive feedback. Who's gonna go?
All right. I guess I'll volunteer.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna be the closer, right? And what you're gonna do is you're gonna start with just basically cold DMing me, and then we'll go from there. So you go through the conversation, and basically I'm not gonna give you any more direction than just DM me and start the interaction, and we'll just go from there. All right.
Okay, so initial DM is hi, are you looking for a sales opportunity?
Okay. I mean, I'm in sales, but what do you got?
Well, I work with a humanitarian group called United for Food, and we have a pretty decent ticket sales opportunity. Excuse me, let me run it back because before I was telling people that it's a high ticket sales opportunity, but it is, but it isn't at the same time. You know what I mean?
Right. So instead of saying that, you say high commission offer.
High commission. Okay. So I work with the humanitarian group United for Food, where we have a high commission offer. Are you interested?
So okay, you got a high commission offer. That sounds pretty cool. So what do you guys basically do?
Well, we go and we talk to local organizations, and we talk to local organizations who are maybe interested in benefiting their customers and allowing them to buy name brand food products at half the price.
Huh. That's pretty interesting, but how do I actually make money like this? It doesn't really seem like there's any money to be made.
Okay, well, what we'll be doing is we'll be bringing you onto our team in order for you to go and talk to more businesses, such as local bagel shops, local coffee shops, things of that nature that bring in customers, a good amount of customers, maybe about 500 to 1,000 customers per month. And with each of those customers that are brought in and hear about United for Food from your QR code that you'll be receiving, you'll get a high commission from each of those customers.
That's interesting. I've never really done anything like that. I don't really know if this is a good fit for me, to be honest.
Well, this is something that is completely off the market. This is something that is hasn't been seen before. It's a brand new niche that's being brought to the market. It's an opportunity for you and for us both, for not only to benefit your community, but to benefit your lifestyle as well.
All right, so let's pause there. And then we're gonna reverse now, and then I'm gonna talk to you, and then after that we'll kind of compare and contrast. All right, so I'm DMing you now. Hey Shakeem, I've got a closing opportunity for you.
Okay, what is it?
So yeah, I actually work with a humanitarian organization. We've got an extremely high commission offer, and the compensation is really great. Now, you do not have to pay in order to get started with our closing opportunity. You can get started right away. What I want to do is learn a little bit more about you, get you on a product knowledge training, and if you're a good fit for us, we'll get you started and you'll get going. So how about you tell me a little bit about yourself so I can just get some understanding here?
Well, I'm a 19-year-old student. I'm actually in the IBC inbound closing organization. I've gone through the inbound closing accelerator and I've gotten my certification for that. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I've heard of IBC. So they've got some good training there. Have you actually had an opportunity yet, or are you just looking right now?
No, I'm just looking.
All right, well, great, man. You know, we really appreciate new talent because new talent's hungry. So look, I got a presentation coming up in 2 hours at 4 p.m. Eastern tonight. This evening, really. Let's schedule that for you. Does that time work for you?
Yes, it does.
All right, cool. All right, I got you locked in at 4 p.m. and we'll go into all the details and get you plugged in, my man.
It sounds great. However, where do I fit in into the community
I mean,
that you
basically, go ahead.
that you're trying to build? Where do I fit in?
So you'll basically be a closer with our organization. You'll be closing individuals and you'll be getting high commission for doing that. Now I'll break down how that looks and the structure of everything on the presentation itself. And you'll get all the information. You'll be able to ask questions, everything like that. Sound good?
Yeah, that sounds good. I'd actually like to have a little bit more information before I go into the meeting. Is there anywhere that I could, do a little bit of background check on you guys?
Yeah, so we do have a website, but typically we give that to you during the meeting itself. That way we can look at the website together and address any questions you have. You know what I'm saying? So basically, what I'm asking of you is just kind of come into the meeting with an open mind. You know what I'm saying? Just hear what we have to offer, and we'll have a conversation during the meeting. If you have any concerns, questions, anything like that, we'll address them live. And if you like everything you hear, we'll just get you going.
Okay, sounds great.
All right, Andrew. So you see how I handled your questions there?
You kept redirecting it back to the meeting.
I didn't actually give you any answers. Whereas with what you were doing, you started explaining all this different detail where if they're just receiving that off the cuff, it's a lot of information that doesn't really make sense. You know what I'm saying?
True.
That's why that's why there's a specific way I actually communicate that information to a person on first exposure. Um, I start with talking about, hey, our expectations is for y'all to make $175,000 in commissions in your first year, right? I hook them that way. And then I talk about not only that, but this commission is recurring, right? I hook them again. And then before I would go directly into the ticket offer, but before I do that now, I also say, not only can you successfully earn $175,000 in commission, but you can actually do higher level closing work where you create partnerships with small businesses and create serious monthly passive residual income for yourself. And we'll talk about what that looks like. You know what I'm saying? But we're talking about six figures a month here. So something like that. And then I basically like start feeding them like piece by piece by piece by piece by piece. That way I'm not just throwing all this stuff right down at them all at once. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see.
So, you don't want them to feel like you're avoiding their question. You just want them to feel like you have a structure, you have a way of doing things, and that's the way you do it. You know what I'm saying? Because if you think about it, if you apply for a job, like an actual job, and you ask if you call in and ask like, hey, can I get more information, this and that, like all this different stuff, they're just gonna like show up to the interview. You know what I'm saying? They're not really gonna entertain you like that. They're just
Hmm.
gonna have you stick. They have a structure, they have a system, and they have a process. And if that doesn't work for you, all right, don't show up. They don't. Most jobs don't actually cater to the person. The thing with closers is closers make the mistake of catering to the individual. You want to have a connection with the individual. You want to relate to them. You want to have good energy, good rapport, things like that, and you want to speak with empathy. But you notice when I was handling your basically your questions and stuff, I wasn't being aggressive. I was just giving you understanding and context, right?
Hmm.
Um, so that's kind of the best way to go about that there.
Okay, most definitely. I'm glad we're recording this so I can just go back and go over it again.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the ideal way to do that. And then once they're on the presentation itself, they'll receive the information from myself in that streamlined fashion and everything like that. So when you're actually talking to the closer, if you go into that much information, you're gonna lose them. Most times you're gonna lose them. I didn't even tell you it was called United for Food. You know. I didn't actually even give you that information.
They usually ask like what organization are you a part of, because everybody usually, especially if it's coming from a DM, they always think it's a scam.
Yeah, that's why so I do get that question. It's not like I don't get that question, but a lot of times I don't even get that question because of the energy I'm communicating on that second interaction. I always do the first interaction with the DM and the second interaction with the voice memo. That's how I do that. That way they feel my energy, they feel where I'm coming from, and I'm coming from a true place, right? The same way I'm interacting with you guys right now, that's the same way I interact with the new prospect. I come from the same kind of genuine type place, same type of authenticity, everything like that. Now, another way you can structure it is instead of directly scheduling the appointment, you can schedule a 3 to 5 minute call where you talk in more detail as well. So there's different ways you can structure that. So we'll do that as well now. So let me see if I can get a different volunteer. Yeah, that way we can get different information coming in. All right, so who else wants to volunteer for the next role play? I need somebody.
Sure.
Eli, I'm calling you out, Eli.
You don't have to call me out, bro. I was gonna say I'm down, but then you came in. But yeah.
All right. Let's actually. Since Eli and I kind of already did this, we did it one-on-one. I actually do want to go with Sohaib there, since Sohaib was volunteering. So, if we got time, I'll do one with you too, Eli. That way, we can do that. But let's do one with Sohaib first.
All right.
Okay, so Sohaib, so I'm gonna give you a different approach now, and do you wanna try and close me first, or not close me, but set an appointment with me first based off of what we said before I give you my second approach here?
Yeah, I can try to like set the appointment up.
All right, so go for that. You can start the interaction.
Uh, hey, Anoop, are you looking for an opportunity to make some money, uh, and as a closer?
Um, I mean, I do closing, but I kind of got something going on right now. What are you talking about? What do you got?
We have a position open. We're we're currently having a Zoom call, and it's at 4:30. Let's say hypothetically, let's say at 10 o'clock. Are you able to attend it?
I mean, what kind of organization? Like, what is this?
We work in the humanitarian industry. We help we help we help communities build food uh, food distributions throughout the United States.
Okay, and how do I actually make money as a closer?
Okay, the, the way you make money is that uh, yeah, I wouldn't I wouldn't know how to like word that. Like how would I say it? How would I go about saying that?
Yeah, so for you and in general, the where you went wrong is you gave me the power, right? The
Yeah,
first place you gave me the power is you said, "Are you interested in in a closing opportunity, right? In an opportunity as a closer." You gave me the permission to not be interested. When I approached Shakim, I said, "Hey, Shakim, I've got a closing opportunity for you." I did not outright give him the permission to not be interested. I didn't give him the permission to I didn't say, "Hey, I've got a closing opportunity for you. Are you interested?" I didn't give him the permission to ignore me. I didn't give him the permission to do any of these things. Now, of course, he can still choose to ignore me, and that will happen, but I didn't give him the permission to do that. If you're giving me the permission to do that, I'm mostly inclined to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because you're giving me permission. Whereas if you don't do that and you just stick to your guns there, you know, I don't have the same position of power off the get-go. And then second thing there is definitely speaking from a place of authority, right? What you got to realize is you're an economic developer with United for Food. United for Food is going to be a multi-billion-dollar food distribution company, okay? And you're representing that. So that's where you got to be coming from. When I was talking to these businesses, when I'm doing these role plays, when I'm doing anything relating to this business, right? That's where I'm coming from, you know? That's the kind of energy I'm coming with. That's how I'm operating.
Bring more energy too, bro. You sound like you don't want to be here. Keep that area light, bro. Wherever you can, try to make a joke, get the person to laugh, try to make them feel as if you're not trying to sell them something, like you're just trying to be there and get them a good opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you can definitely do that. Creating rapport is nice, but it's not necessarily necessary. You know, like for me, I'm a straight shooter, right? So I'll just go for the kill, basically. But I do it in an authentic and a compassionate way to where they don't feel like I'm trying to scam them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because the way you talking, at least to me, is just sound like a telemarketer cold calling you. They don't want to be at their job today. Like I really, like, you know, I know you might not want to do this, but I just got to do it anyway.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So basically, giving them power is like ask them a question, make it as a way of as a in a form of a question.
It depends on the type of question. So, for example, if I ask you, um, well, actually, yeah, I mean, questions give them power, right? But it depends. Well, if you're doing fact finding, it's different. If you are doing fact finding, you do want to ask them questions. But there's a time to ask a question and there's a time to make a statement. For example, if I want to ask you, so what's your closing experience like, right? I still have the power there. I didn't say, so can you tell me about your closing experience? Now I just gave away the power because I said, can you, right? Whereas before I said, tell me about your closing. I don't even remember what I said before. I'm always freestyling, so I just never remember what I said the second before. That's just kind of how I operate. But
learn all this from the insurance agent company?
No, I kind of learned all of this. I've learned sales from a lot of different people, but I mean, this is being recorded, so I mostly learned it just through speaking to people through life. You know what I'm saying? How to speak to people, how to interact with different people, how to have conversations with people in different kind of situations, stuff like that. But I have taken sales courses and things like that, and have learned things from sales courses that are valuable. But a lot of these implicit things I'm talking to you about here is kind of stuff. Some of it, so so the admin and I, we do discourse, and he will share information with me as well. So some of it he's given to me, some of the stuff he's learned as well through his life, but he's self-taught as well. It's not like he never really learned sales from anybody. He's all self-taught. So a lot of it is just through process of life, and learning to speak to people. Because if you think about it, every interaction you have is sales, right? If you walk into a store, the way you're received by the cashier is sales, right? Because you presented yourself a certain way. When you're walking in, I'm not in school anymore, but when I was in high school, the way you walk onto the bus, you know what I'm saying? The way you walk into that building, that's sales, right? The way you walk into your classroom, it's all sales. So you're presenting yourself in a certain kind of way. You're communicating a certain kind of information. And there's a lot of subconscious tells that go on there. You know, inflection, tone of voice, things like that. But also on an energetic level, sales is communication of energy. That's why for me, I can be a straight shooter, but also feel authentic and genuine because of the type of energy that I'm communicating. Yeah. So I'm gonna run it back on to you now. So you'll basically be the person I'm talking to. So we'll start drill. Now this one's a little bit more formal than the last one. The one I did with Shaquem is more conversational style. This one's going to be a little bit more formal, so it'll feel different. So hey Sohaib, I've got a closing opportunity for you.
Okay. Can you tell me more about it?
Yeah, man. So essentially, I'd like to schedule a quick call with you so we can talk about it. We've got open positions we're looking to fill. And, maybe you have what we're looking for. You don't have to pay to get started, and our compensation is great, second to none. So let's schedule like a 3 to 5 minute call in about maybe 15 minutes. Are you available?
Uh, not at the moment. I'm not available. We can do it later in the day.
All right, what's a good time for you?
Let's say tomorrow. Oh, wait, probably. Okay, let's just say at 10:30.
10:30 tonight. All right, I'll be done with the call around that time, so I'm gonna give you a call at 10:30. All right, fast forward to 10:30. Ring, ring.
Yeah, hello.
Hey, Sohaib, this is Anoop. We spoke earlier, and I wanted to schedule a call with you to kind of give you more details about what we have going on. So we've got a very serious offer. You should be able to, and our expectation is for that you to earn, $175,000 in commission your first year with us. We're looking for people that already have skills needed or people that have the desire and will to get fully trained and acquire these skills. Things like intelligence, great work ethic, punctuality, sales and closing. Skills are at the top of our list of what we're looking to fill for an open position with us. So the campaign we're working on right now is actually for a food subsidy center so that people can cut their food bills in half shopping for name brand foods they buy anyway. We do have several different campaigns, but this one is super hot right now and in demand. So that's a little bit about us, but I'd actually like to learn more about you and kind of what you're bringing to the table.
All right. About the thing about me, like I've been interested in getting to like the high ticket closing for a while. I've gone into different courses that I've learned. I previously worked as a appointment setter or slash SDR for a solar company in the past. I like what you guys are offering. That's pretty legitimate. The 72,000 a year.
Yeah, I mean, we got people earning 50,000 a month plus already, but $175,000 a year is kind of the baseline expectation. If you put in the work, you'll get that.
Awesome, awesome. So how does that work?
Yeah, so I don't have too much time right now, but we will have a call, a training call that we break all that information down for you on. But I do like that you have sales experience and you seem like you do have the capacity to learn and grow. So how about this? We've got a sales call. So what is 10:30 tonight? We got a call at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Are you available at that time?
Yeah,
All right,
I'm
cool. So I'm gonna schedule you for 9 a.m. I'll send you a link at around right before 9 or at 9 exactly. And then basically show up for the call, try and have Zoom ready so that way you don't have problems getting on the call, everything like that. And you'll get all the information. And we'll have a discourse at the end of the call. And if it's a good fit for you, like everything you hear, we'll get you started right away.
Okay, awesome.
All right, cool. So end drill. So that's a different way to go about it. In that way, you actually give them a little bit more information up front. But you can see in both ways. Either way works. It's just how you give them that information and how you handle what they're asking and how you actually talk about it.
Yeah, so you basically get it done through just pretty much two DMs, two direct message, and then just get them on the phone.
2 DMs, a voice memo, and then 5-minute call. That's a simple way to do it. But yeah, that's how you do it.
Okay.
Yeah. So like for the VAs, what I'll be having them do is do the DMs, and then instead of sending the voice memo, if someone says, "Okay, what do you got?" They'll say, "Okay, great. Let me actually connect you with my sales manager here, and he'll give you all the details." So 3 DMs, and they're getting paid $5 an hour to do that. You know what I'm saying? Which is good money for the VA based on where they're from and everything like that. So that's kind of how we'll build the VAs out. And then you as the closer will receive those people coming into you, and then you'll do the interaction from that point on and be responsible for setting that appointment.
Okay.
Yeah. That way, in case the VA's English isn't that great or they're not great at communication, you don't lose anybody to that.
All right. All right.
But yeah, that's what that'll look like. So, does anybody have any questions, or does anybody want to run a drill with me and give me difficult objections or anything like that to see how I handle them, and do that way?
You want to do a negotiating drill?
Yeah. The negotiate. What do you mean by negotiating drill?
Just like if someone wants to negotiate with TBC to like give something.
Oh, for that, yeah, let's do that on a different call, because I want to post this video and have it be on topic. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So
Yeah,
what
I
would be
get
the
you.
objection about?
What'd you say?
What would be the objection about?
I mean, you can do objections about anything. You know what I'm saying? You could say, "Oh, my dog just died. I don't have time today." You know what I'm saying? The objection can be anything.
Anoop, I have a quick question. When it comes down to people that object like irrationally, are we gonna keep trying, or do we even want them on our team?
Let's run one. So, what kind of objection would you be? What would you say is an irrational one?
Something along the lines of I when it comes down to trust, like say I don't trust your company. I don't think that what you guys are doing is legitimate.
All right, man. I mean, that's fair. Trust is something a lot of people have issues with, but we actually have documentation for everything we've done so far, and we make good on the things we set out intention to do. So on the call itself, I'll definitely show you that documentation, so you can see all the things we've already done. You can see the commissions we've paid out. We've actually paid out over 9 million in commissions so far. That's documented. So all that's available to you. So I mean, for you, there's really nothing to not trust. But if you get on the call with us, you'll see the facts there, and you'll have that information. So let's get you on a call, man. What time is a good time for you?
How about 5 p.m.?
All right, let's do 5. Cool. I'll see you there. Bring your questions, bring your distrust, bring it all, and we'll go through that.
Okay. Enjoy.
Cool.
That was pretty good. I liked how you handled that. You just presented them with the facts. It makes a lot of sense. I like it.
Yeah, I'm not fazed by it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Cool. Any other questions?
No.
Yeah.
Hey, Gina, I have an objective.
Okay.
The merchant. What if the merchant wants to say to you something like, well, okay, so I have to put this, $300 or $30 a month up, and what if this doesn't work for me? What if my, I can't get customers to sign up, and they don't think it's legit or it's a good thing? Do I get my money back? Do I get a refund?
Okay, so let's see. So that's a little bit off topic from what we're looking to address here, but I'll go through that with you anyway. So if the merchant says that to me, I kind of be like, okay, yeah, well, you might not be able to bring customers to what we have going on here, but let's look at that. It's a simple brochure, right? What did you say? I'd show them the brochure. It's a pretty simple brochure, right?
Yeah.
What's your first impression when you see this brochure?
Well, I mean, it's a nice looking brochure, but still, like you're saying, that you want to get the food center set up so like, the people when they come in and start paying, they're paying their money out, but yet there's nowhere they can go shopping yet.
So they wouldn't actually have that information from the brochure itself. On the brochure itself, it says gathering 1,000 households wanted, and that's how we present that. So it's kind of just created it's for a hook. You know what I'm saying? So you're coming into the drill with background information. You see what I'm saying? That they wouldn't have at that point in time. They will have that understanding once they get on the call with us, but they wouldn't have that information just based off the brochure itself. I can't really hear you. I don't know if you're speaking or not.
So how would we address that with people that come in, you know, are like, well, heck, you know, I'm going to be paying this monthly, but yet the centers aren't set up and I still can't shop. How would you address that with someone?
So that would actually be on the call itself, right? That wouldn't be happening in the shop with the store owner. That information would be communicated on the call. And the way we're communicating the information to them is that, hey, so you have this opportunity to, so long story short, right, they're seeing United for Food, but they're also seeing everything else we have going on. And it's presented in such a way that they want to be a part of all of it. The food centers are great, but everything is the amazing part. The real amazing part is the other stuff we have going on. What is that?
I said, yeah, that would make sense then, because they'd be getting the whole package of understanding.
Right. And if a person was like, well, can I just wait for the food center to get built? It's like, yeah, you can perfectly do that. There's no harm in doing that, but you're going to be missing out on everything you could be having right now. And just off of that alone, it's far more than worth $30 a month. I mean, look at what you're getting here.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep. So that's how I'd handle that.
Okay. Great. Awesome. Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions? Let's see, who haven't I heard from yet? Amanda, do you have any questions?
I don't right now. Thank you.
All right, cool. So do you see kind of what the way everyone was coming at the conversation versus the way I was approaching the conversation?
Yeah, you were more like direct, but yet you avoided giving away too much information, because they would need to show up to the presentation, which covers everything else, and it gives more of a hook. So yeah, I respect that. I like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you give them too much up front without if you give them too much without all the context, they'll make their own conclusion, right? And you don't want them to do that. So you got to give them just enough to satisfy that question in their mind and basically meet that. And then once you've met that, you don't want to go beyond that. You don't want to give them more than what they're actually asking for. Because a lot of people, when the words they say is not what they actually want. What they want is some sort of certainty or reassurance or whatever it is. So you just provide that, and then you just keep them on task there.
Yeah, like it gives them a curiosity
Right.
to show up, and then
Yeah. Cool. Let's see, Lysandra, any questions? I think you.
Yeah. What happens always? Very first thing out of their mouths is, sounds like a scam. Nobody can ever stop, poverty. Nobody can ever feed that many people. It just doesn't happen.
Well, I'm not giving them all of that information up front in the first conversation.
Okay.
In the initial interaction, go ahead.
When you start with United for Food, so you come on saying, United for Food, and then where do you go from there?
So I don't necessarily even always say United for Food, right? In both of those role plays I did, I never actually stated United for Food. And I wouldn't.
I didn't get to hear.
Oh, no, that's okay.
Sorry.
No, that's cool. Yeah, so in those role plays, I don't actually say United for Food at all. I kind of just say, I either say we're a humanitarian organization, or I say we're building food centers. You know what I'm saying? So I give them very little information. This will be recorded, so you can go through that specifically. But if they let's say they hear what I say and they say it's a scam, I'd kind of say, okay, well, I can understand your opinion there, but where's the actual scam, you know? We're building food centers. We've already done goodwill as an organization. You know, we've already done goodwill. And we've been paying out commissions, and all of that's documented. So where's the actual scam?
Okay, and then like my brother-in-law said to me, well, you don't know that because you don't know for sure that they've been feeding people. You don't know for sure. You know what I'm saying? I'll say, you don't know that. That's why scams are so good and people get taken because you believe what they're telling you,
Okay,
but how do you have proof that
so
they actually did
so
that?
check this. We have video footage of us providing food to villages. Do you think we staged that and created a little movie to claim we fed those people? Do you think that was our intention there? We have documentation, pictures, video. They're on camera speaking, all of that.
Where do we get that?
Yeah, so I can provide that link for you there. But we're actually going to go into those details on the presentation itself. So you'll get that information in the presentation, and I can give you that link at that time. Just remind me and ask me for that link so you can review it while we go through it. And, you know, I'll definitely give that to you so that way you have it. That's how I'd handle that.
Okay. All right. Well, so if I do this, then this is an investment. Then if I do it, I'll be investing my money, and I'll have a lot of money in the future. But where do I spend my money? If I can't trade it on the market, where do I spend my money? Because
So basically, you're giving them way more information than I'd ever give anybody off the initial conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like, so they wouldn't even know.
Unfortunately, it's family. You know, when you're talking to family, they want everything right now.
Yeah, so for family, it's a different approach. We're kind of talking about approaching closers, but for
Okay.
family, so if they're saying that, you know, response would be, so first of all, it's not really structured as an investment. Second of all, well, building on that, you're receiving far more than what you're putting in. An investment is 1-to-1, and the investment grows. This is a distribution. You're receiving for the amount you're putting in, so to speak. You're receiving significantly more out. And that's because we're looking to build a team, a network of economic developers that have funding that will be able to go out into economies and develop economies. That's the intention of that there. Now, as far as what else did you say, by the way? Just
And just so that you know, my brother-in-law is an engineer, so he's got that brain that wants to pick every single little thing apart. And he's worried about me, so he's asking a million questions, and then he says there's no possible way that those coins could be worth that much, especially if they're not even traded.
Okay, so yeah, market value is one way to determine value. But if you look at the real value of currency, it operates on agreement, right?
An agreement, yeah.
Even when we're trading on markets, it's because there's an agreement around the demand. There's demand and there's supply, so there's agreement around that. Now, we've taken that concept and we just went to the root of it. We don't need a market because we just have agreement. We have a value, and that value is agreed upon. If you have an agreed upon value, why do you need a market? There's already value, and both the buyer and the seller agree upon that value. There's no need to have a market. You can just spend that at the places that agree upon that value, and everybody that holds the currency has agreement around that value. And currently, we've got 4 million people that agree upon the value and 22,000 merchants that accept it at that value. And that number has grown from 7,000 in October to 22,000 at present, and it's growing every single day.
And I actually said all that stuff just like that. And he says, oh, I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it.
What's there not to
I'm
believe?
still not gonna believe it, bro.
What's there not to believe?
Fantasy world. I think that's what he called it. That's a fantasy.
Some
It's
people
never
just
going
like
to
in
work.
old times.
We have video documentation of people actually purchasing goods with the currency itself. So how is that a fantasy?
That's really cool. But and then when it comes down to that, when I say things like that, he says things like, "Well, is that here in the U.S.?" I said, "No,
Some
that's
people just not gonna
mine."
believe it. A lot of people operate off of I'll see it when I believe it, but when it should really be in reverse. You gotta believe it to see it.
That's
That's
true.
what we're on. We all believe it first.
But I mean, at the same time, even if somebody is coming from that belief, I'll still close them, right? So let's say, where's it in the US? Okay. So we do actually have places in the US currently, but it's not as great as we'd like it to be, you know. So we have strategies on how to bring on merchants, and we're building merchants every single day in the US, right? Um, so something you could say is, for example, one of the people from our team, he went out to the city in Philadelphia and he talked to 50 businesses about what we have going on. Out of those 50, through the way he presented it, 45 were interested in creating an initial partnership with us. So that's just one example. That's 45 businesses he brought on in a single day in a concentrated area. But building upon that, we already do have a few merchants nationally. For example, if you wanted to get stem cell therapy, right, for joint recovery or anything like that, you can actually purchase or get that stem cell therapy treatment 50% cash, 50% TBC. Moreover, individuals in the US have bought land 100% TBC and large amounts of it. As a negotiator, you can do anything with this currency if you're capable of negotiating with it. Even in countries that don't have a merchant base as strong as other international countries. For example, like there's an individual in Dubai. He negotiated to have his rent paid for entirely with TBC, and he's living in a presidential suite in one of those towers. So as a negotiator, there's a lot you can do with it, but that comes down to being a negotiator. Of course, everybody's not a negotiator, so we are also building our merchant base for those people that aren't.
Pretty much what I said. Yeah.
And then what he said.
Some people just won't open their minds to the possibility. But my sister is absolutely getting in tomorrow, and others. So
what did
she
he
says,
say?
that's my husband. He's an engineer. He's a doubter. So just forget about him, and we're gonna do this.
Well, what did he actually say when you responded in that type of way?
He literally said, it's a fantasy, and you guys are putting in all the hard work and paying them money every month and spending your time doing the job of growing a membership that probably is not even really real and isn't going to be around. And there's no way that a group like this can exist forever. It's just an admin taking money and using it however he wants. I said, no, we know that he's spent that money and spent more than that money feeding people and growing this company. So he's all about the give, not the get. And he said, I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
The way I phrased it to certain people, because I had a lot of clothes just do that to me. A lot of family members say that. It's just like, well, with this, you're not betting on anything. You're not betting on no market value. You're not betting on whether this will crash, the government. You're betting on people and people's hard work. And that's worth more than anything that anything else can do to anybody. The government can't decrease the value. Any market can't decrease the value. What you're doing here is you're betting on people. And that's what we're all about. And these people that are going to put in these hard hours, hard, long days of work are worth more than any of that money the government or any market could do to any currency.
Yeah, but
so if you're ready to bet on people, you got to come this way.
Yeah, a person like her brother isn't going to receive that, or her brother.
No, yeah, because I said that, and what he said was, people are greedy, and I'll never believe that there'll be that many people that aren't that greedy. I mean, people are greedy. It's not going to ever work. So,
yeah,
I said, okay.
At that point in time, I kind of say, well, usually what you believe about the world is a reflection of yourself. So that might be something to consider there. Kind of put it back on him at that point in time. But because pretty much he's projecting what he personally believes. So he's kind of saying, I'm a greedy person and I believe everybody else is like me as well. That's kind of what he's saying. So you can put it back on him. But, you know, you can also say we already have a community of 4 million people that connect with what we're doing, you know. So that's kind of just a sample population there. But, you know, as a community, we believe in human potential, you know. So you could come with the doubt that humanity is this way or that way or whatever. But the reality of it is a majority of people are actually good. a majority of people actually operate from a good place, even if they make mistakes at times, and most of the times those mistakes that they do make are a result of the conditions and the society that they're in, not a reflection of the person itself.
Right, right. And I did pretty much say that to him. I said, I'm sorry that you're in such a sad place that you feel that the whole world is like that. I feel bad that that's where your heart is. I feel for you. I actually grabbed him and gave him a hug and said, I love you. And there is better out there. And I hope eventually you can see that. But I ain't stopping. Just because you don't want to believe it, I'm not stopping.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, I've literally sat in a conversation with people for 2+ hours, just going at it. And, they start receiving it eventually. There's only so many excuses and so many handles. For example, if he's saying, okay, if he goes back to it's a fantasy, we have documentation. How is that a fantasy? So you kind of,
It's easy to write it off because he just says, oh, that's somebody else's documentation. Yeah, it doesn't mean it is actually real.
how is it?
He doubts everything. He doubts everything.
Well, I mean, if he's going to say that, you just handle that specific objection itself. How is it not real? This is footage. This is evidence. This is documentation. In a court of law, if you have footage of somebody committing a crime, but it was filmed from somebody else, oh, that's somebody else's footage. It might not be real. You know what I'm saying? So, like, how does that even work? Like, you just have to tear down where he's coming from.
He doesn't like people. He wants to live somewhere far, far away from everyone with no people around. That's him. That's his mentality.
That's
We'll
fine.
get to the core of that problem.
I mean, I've been like that before too. It's fine. But yeah, I've come from that type of a place before. So that's not necessarily a wrong thing. It's just a reaction to what he's experienced so far in life. So for
I wanted to say, you guys, this is what we're seeing right now with the dupe. I don't know how many of us are still on here, but this is such gold to be able to be part of a group with a noob, because you, dude, are putting your hours in and you aren't benefiting directly from all these hours. You are working with us and for us and together building this community that we're talking about. So this is major gold. I just hope that these new members can catch on and see the value they have and the training they're going to get and the care they're going to get in being in this dynamic community.
Yeah.
I really hope they catch on to that. Yeah.
Sure.
I appreciate everything you're doing for us.
For sure, bro. I mean,
Yeah, bro, we all do.
For me, I mean, like, I could be the poorest person in the TBC economy that we're looking to build, and I'd be set because I know, first of all, I'd know that this economy is a reality. Second of all, I know I'd have the opportunity to rise up through that economic ladder as well. So for me, the money's not important. However, the money is still important because you need finances and cash flow in order to really expand an operation, which is why I also put in the time to build these kind of, organizational structures and everything you're seeing as far as networking with the door-to-door people, creating the entire organizational structure where we can cash flow the way we were talking about before we started this recording here. But, that's like, so you need both sides, because the admin does say nobody likes to follow a broke leader. And that is a reality to a point. But at the same time, Jesus was broke,
Yeah.
So it goes,
You got
it
the
goes,
biggest
it does go
following in the
both
world.
ways. Yeah, it does go both ways there, but he also had the power to create fish out of nothing and things like that.
That's right.
So that helps. That helps.
Amen.
Yeah, so that definitely helps. But yeah, so we definitely need finances in order to grow the operation because of the current society we're living in and things like that. But I mean, we've already seen opportunities coming our way, things just presenting themselves and stuff like that. So as we continue to build, as we build more momentum, things will start coalescing and things will start coming together. So you know, putting in the time for me is no problem because I know what's going to come out of it, right?
Right.
Mm.
I want to offer my time too. As I get more knowledgeable, I am more than happy to share some of my time to help other team members also.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, because it's important. It's important to you know, invest in others and things like that because you know, you never know what can come out of that. You know, especially as you get busier, it's harder to do that. But then, like, there's times where I take the time to invest in somebody, and it turns into something like amazing just because I took the time to do that. So I always try and
Yeah.
be aware of that as well. But in
Yeah.
general, when you're dealing with somebody that's difficult, um, so it's a battle, right? And it's whoever's going to give up first is the person that's going to lose. So if you choose to accept and have agreement about what he's presenting to you, for example, he might feel like, oh, this is how the world works, this is just how I am, I'm a doubtful person, this, that, whatever, right? If you agree to that reality, then you lose, right? But you don't have to have agreement around that. Even if that's the way he acts, you don't have to agree. You can in yourself say, no, this is not how you are. This is just how you're acting right now, right? In my eyes, I have agreement
Yeah.
around the fact that you can be more than this, you can understand more than this, and you can do more than this with the information I'm giving you. So I'm going to operate from that agreement I'm holding to and continue this conversation. That's like, that can be your internal mentality there. You know, I've seen like one of the salespeople that I've learned from before. I saw him do a 4.5 hour close before on one
Wow.
person.
Dream bacon cheeseburger.
So he stayed with that person. He stayed on the call with that person for 4.5 hours in order to close that deal. And for me, that was pretty impressive. I mean, I've done things. I've had. I mean, it's not just with closing, right? If you're having a conversation with a person and trying to get them to understand a perspective, I've talked to people for 8 hours straight, right? Literally to the point where they were about to like just like pass out or whatever from the conversation, but I still got my point across. You know, and at the end of the day, they benefited from that. So it's really a battle, but that's where resilience, endurance, and things like that come in. You know, like in in martial arts, right? Kind of like stepping to a different field real quick. So I've studied from a very small Indonesian man, right? He's like around 120 pounds. He's real small, but he's one of the strongest people I've ever met. And he said the way a small Indonesian man can combat a 300-pound football player is by outlasting them. If you endure their strength, they don't have any strength left. Not only did you survive their physical strength, but the fact that you endured their physical strength will break them mentally, all that kind of stuff. So endurance is one of the strongest things you can have, because if you're not done and they are done, then you win, you know? So it all comes down to endurance. And of course, like for me, I don't necessarily have the time to invest 4 or 8 hours right now into a single person, you know, but so I have to you know when to cut my loss and things like that as well. But at the very least, even if I do cut my loss, my intention is to leave a lasting impact on that individual that will sit with him, so that maybe 3-4 months down the line, when that person starts seeing TBC on the news, United for Food on the news and things like that, they go, oh, holy shit, this is the real deal. And then they're already primed at that point in time. Everything's primed, instead of them having to say, oh, what is TBC? What is this? What is that? They're already primed for it. So that's, even if it doesn't happen now, it doesn't mean it won't happen later. A no is all, even a hard no is just no for now. It's never no for forever. You're muted, Lysandra.
which is also biblical. Plant that seed, and either you or someone else in the community may reap that reward and harvest that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Reaping and sowing. Yeah. Or sowing and reaping.
Another driver just came over to talk to me.
Oh, no worries. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of the main information. So we got a solid understanding of how to do the role play there, how to approach the individual and everything like that. So that's recorded, and we'll be able to review that and study that. And then we also kind of went into some different directions there of just objection handling in general and principles of sales. But essentially, it's all about communication, and it is a battle. But even though I'm saying it is a battle, you don't necessarily want to be aggressive. There is times to be bold and blunt, but there's also times to be like soft and gentle as well. Not soft in like a collapsing way, but like soft in like a receiving way. Yeah, because there's times for both aspects. There's times to do that. For example, if you throw a rock at a wall, right, the rock is going to dent the wall. But if you throw a rock at, say, a shower curtain, for example, it's just going to hit the shower curtain and kind of fall down, because the shower curtain's soft, whereas the wall is hard. So that kind of a concept, right? There's times to be soft, and then there's times to be bold and out there. So a lot of it is just a lot of it is developing instincts. A lot of it is developing just like skill sets that way. And the only way you do that is by trying and failing, and then learning, and then growing from that.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah,
agreed.
Yeah, because what makes the
It's just harder
difference.
talking to family. It's always harder talking to family because they start lecturing you, and I don't care what you're saying, you're gonna get scammed, and I want you out of it, and I don't want you to do it. It's like they don't even want to hear what you're saying.
Yeah,
Since family are just automatic doubters, they just don't believe you. You try to help them out, and it's much easier to talk to a stranger.
yeah, but here's the interesting thing about family, right? So I used to do like competitive weightlifting, bodybuilding, things like that, and I used to go on like hardcore diets in order to get down to like sub 4% body fat and things like that. And when I was doing that, I would have family be like, "Oh, you're crazy. Oh, this, that, whatever, the other thing." And it sounds like they're trying to care about you, right? But they're not actually operating from a place of love. They're operating from a negative place. They're afraid of what you're doing. They're afraid of the potential it has and things like that. So they criticize you. They'll say things about what you're doing. And, like if you start trying to build a business or start trying to do something for yourself, you're going to encounter that same resistance. You'll encounter that very exact same resistance until you start making breakthroughs. Then they'll be your biggest supporters, right? Like, "Oh, I knew you could do it." This, that, and the other thing. It's like, "Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, for sure." And that's just kind of the nature of how family is, right? That's just kind of how they operate there. Typically, not always, but typically. That's kind of just human nature in that way. So that's just something you have to be aware of. So when you are speaking to your family, we do have the text message conversation. And if you notice in the text message conversation, so let me share my screen. So let's see here. PDF guides, I think. Yeah. So I will give this to everybody in the group chat. So in this is a scripted conversation that a person can have based off of the "I have a free gift for you," or "I have a gift for you, time is short, call me." Right? And this is kind of the thing we talk about in the presentation itself. It's like, "Hello, you wanted to call me. Um, Thanks, Mom. I'm so excited. I'm on a timer and I have to give at least 2 gifts away before the timer hits 0. The gift is digital money, and it only takes about 5 minutes for me to help you set up a wallet for free so the money can be loaded into your wallet." I get a big reward if I beat the timer. Will you accept the gift now and help me beat the timer? What do I do with this digital money? Is it safe? It's very safe. You can spend the money with 22,000 participating merchants anytime. Don't worry, there's no obligations. You can do as you wish. Here's the link to set up the account. Okay, I'm trusting you on this, right? You know, so like you're approaching it in a way where you don't give them the room to really call it a scam because of the information you're providing, you know. You make it seem like, so instead, so with your brother there, you showed him that you're investing your time and energy, that you're putting a lot into it, that this is taking a lot from you in a certain kind of way, right? And everything like that. So you gave him ammo to fire back at you. You know what I'm saying? You gave him ammo. Whereas this, you know, this doesn't, so her ammo is this safe, right? And you kind of defend against that, but then you give it, there's no obligation, you can do as you wish, right? So you give them that sense of, okay, this is something I can just test out and see and whatever, right? So you go off of that. You don't actually start with, hey, there's you know, it's $30 a month or anything. Like, you just start off with the free gift, right? The free gift, you know, and then it's very simple that way. And then this is kind of the follow-up on that interaction there. But, you know, you can see how that approach is kind of different than approaching it where you throw all this information at them, talk about how they're trying to solve world poverty, this thing, that thing, the other thing, everything like that. Even though we did talk about the ways to handle those objections, that's not necessarily the ideal way to go about it. The best way to go about it is to really discuss this script here and just go through it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, because that way they'll learn the information on the back end. Let me put this in the group.
Well, I must have a super, super, duper suspicious family, though, because when I started out that way, because that's how I started it out, they weren't willing to jump in and do anything, especially when they looked at the membership thing where they have to take 5 pictures of themselves. Then the fear kicked in. Oh, great. Now they have pictures of my face. And my daughters refused to let my granddaughter come in because then whoever it is that owns this website, they don't know who has access to it. Now they have pictures of my granddaughter's face.
Do they have
So it's
iPhones?
huge fear, huge fear.
So, you know, people are going to project fear on, what did I just send? I don't think I sent what I meant to send. Hang on. Let me do
I mean, like my sister almost went into convulsions over the fear of somebody having her social security number or pictures of her face or, you know, anything like that. I said,
What type
well,
of phone do they have?
Yeah, so
I
who
can-
has their social security number though?
No, I'm just saying that's her. She has a fear over anything that could cause severe security breaches and take her identity from her.
Yeah. So the facial recognition is for oh, I can't send this. It's too big. Okay, I'll figure out a different way. So the facial recognition is for your own security.
Right.
So
I told you.
so if somebody's saying, "Oh, why do I have to take pictures?" Because so the answer to that would be, you know, well, this is currency that you're acquiring, and obviously you don't want somebody to steal that from you. So this is a security measure to ensure that only you're able to access your account.
Okay, and so who are the people that run this website and set it up and have access to the website and all the people in the website and all their information? They keep coming back with,
No, that's
you know,
fine. What information exactly? You know,
my pictures of my face and whatever, you know, whatever personal
your pictures
information.
of your face are all over the internet if you know where to look.
Yeah.
So I mean, that information is all public. Your pictures and your face are in a public registry, all that kind of stuff. Your personal face is everywhere. But they don't actually have any of your, all they have is an email address. All they have is a phone number and a username and password that you created. what information do they actually have? They don't have your driver's license number. They don't have your house address. They don't have any of that information.
They would have to have a bank, some sort of banking information to be able to pay you, right?
What kind of banking information did we collect from you so far?
You know, her biggest thing was, you know, taking those pictures. Same with my daughters, but it's like, you know, they throw pictures of themselves and her all over the internet by themselves on Facebook.
Exactly. So it's like, so so you're saying every time you take a picture and put it on Facebook, you have this same irrational fear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and they don't.
Exactly.
They don't even think about it.
You got to put things in perspective for them. People are going to project anything they can possibly project on things like this. That's just kind of how that looks.
You know, it's so weird because it never even registered for me to even come back with that. And my whole family is constantly putting pictures of themselves and kids and everybody, babies, on the internet all the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, your information there, like your phone number, you can find your phone number online easily. You know what I'm saying? You can find email online easily, find pictures of yourself online easily. You're providing people with that information. It's not like we're collecting your social security number, you know. In fact, most crypto wallets, I mean, you saw this, you actually have to submit your driver's license in order to open the wallet in the US. So our requirements are kind of less. They're not actually as strict because this is like, that's kind of just how the regulations are with US crypto services. So, you know, you'd actually need to provide a picture of the front and back of your driver's license in order to set that up. And that's so they can tie your identity to it and monitor the inflow and outflow. That way IRS can have regulation about that data.
Okay. So when you say that, the next question that triggers is, okay, well, then this must not be a US based software, which is even more fear. Who has the software? Who made it? Who has access to get in it? You know, it's like these crazy irrational fears that just keep coming up.
Yeah, so this is an international community. It is an international community. The creators of it are American, but it is an international community. However, they're not actually storing your pictures. It's for facial recognition. It's not like they necessarily have, actually, I don't know if that's true or not, so I wouldn't say that. But yeah, so this is an international.
I think it's just benchmarks on facial recognition. I think it's just benchmark positions on your face. I don't think they actually keep the picture. So the computer registers marks.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on how the software actually works, so I wouldn't say it either way. Just because I wouldn't want to give them the wrong information and be incorrect about that. But basically, yeah, so they're going to project whatever they can possibly project on it, and you kind of just have to be expected to handle that.
Yeah. Well, with my family, I just want to hug them and kiss them and say, stop being so stinking scared and let me help you. Yeah. Your fear is going to keep you down for the rest of your days. And then you're going to expect me to give you my money. And I ain't going to do it.
Yep.
Yes, I will. I'll help them. But still, it's, you know, it's not right. Let the fear go. Let the fear go.
I mean, I wouldn't help them. I gave you the opportunity to turn me down.
Well, and I kind of been telling them that. I said, look, what happened if I didn't tell you about this? How much are you going to hate me in the future if I didn't tell you about this and tell you how important I thought it was for you? Because I'm going to be wealthy. I'm going to be able to buy property with this, what you call fake money. I'm going to be able to buy everything I need with this, and you're not.
Yeah, I would.
And then you're going to get mad at me because I didn't tell you about it.
I would never even agree with their statement of even like saying what you call fake money, because you're giving them power too at that point. You know, only come from a position of strength, and what the reality of it is, don't even cater to what their position is at all, you know?
I'm thinking maybe I just need to buy something with Kringle so I can shove it in their face.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
You
that's,
know?
yeah, just you can go and negotiate things on Craigslist and things like that. Negotiate for things on Craigslist with TBC. You know, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. But I mean,
But
buying.
they have to be members.
Hmm?
I'm sorry, don't they have to be members to be able to accept it though?
No, you can have a wallet without having a back office account.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So they can
Ah,
have the wallet first without actually creating the free account. They just have to create the wallet itself.
okay. Say they do that, so they are collecting Kringle from people wanting to buy from them. Would they have to become members themselves in order to spend that?
Nope,
No?
they can spend it from the wallet without ever actually having an account. But you would want to share that account with them at the end of that interaction, because you can, like, so now that we're done this year, did you know you could actually receive a gift of $3,000 of this currency just for creating a back end account with us, you know, and then give them
Yeah,
access to that, and then they'll get exposed to the information and then make a decision about whether they want to participate at a higher level.
right. Okay. Yeah, I see how that works out. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we boring everybody? I hope we're not. I hope I'm not boring everybody. Somebody else talk.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap up soon. I've got another meeting to jump on from like 11 p.m. to maybe like 1 a.m. for me. So I'll be on that call. But are there any other questions before we close this out?
Nah, you did a really good job tonight on the training of Newt. I really appreciate you, my man. That's all.
For sure, yeah. And I mean, like, everything I'm saying here can be more polished, more sharp, like everything like that. I'm kind of just going off the top with things. But I mean, sales a lot of times is just adapting on the fly. So having that ability to be able to adapt on the fly, that's why I don't come in with a plan or anything like that. I just come in and receive whatever happens and just go with it, because that's the reality of sales, is you have to be able to adapt on the fly and everything like that, and think on your feet.
Definitely. But for people that are trying to come in, like new people, maybe they haven't had any type of sales experience, but they have the drive. Are you looking to make a script for them so that they
So
can maybe
we
start
do
off with?
we do have a basic script, like when I was doing, so we have this here. This is kind of a basic script. This is what I did with Sohaib there on the second role play. I basically just spoke through this script and then put my own language on it, you know? But this was essentially the core of what I had there. But yeah, so I can provide that to you and everything like that. But in general, even if you have the script, you need to be able to adapt from that script, respond to any questions, everything like that. Because if you rely on the script, you're dead in the water.
Mm-hmm. It's like jumping into the ocean with no life jacket and not knowing how to swim. I feel you.
I mean, the script is like your dictionary. It's your repertoire of words, but then you need to know how to put those words together in a language to actually form sentences and write a paper, you know?
Absolutely. You know, when I was younger, I used to actually read encyclopedias for fun in the library, in like 4th, 5th grade.
Yeah, I used to read the dictionary and shit too. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just like yeah, just having that language there, because once you know the language, then you can free flow, like you know, you can say what you want to say, how you want to say it, and everything, and you can be able to adapt.
Man, y'all boys had some rough lives. Y'all read dictionaries for fun.
Yeah, I grew up soft, and then I joined the streets later on.
Yeah.
That's all I had was dictionaries and encyclopedias. I didn't have internet.
Y'all missed out, man.
No, I
Should told your parents to slow down.
I was always an in the house kid, you know.
Same, but you would never catch me reading a book.
All right. All right. So